Hey everyone, I'm Jess Preeti from Checkbox. I hope you guys had a really good Easter. Today I'm joined by Evan Wong, CEO and co-founder of Checkbox. So our question today is, what's the difference between a platform and a point solution, and how do you know which one you need?
Thanks for having me back. So I would say the best way to think about point solution is that it is a very specific piece of software developed for a very specific problem. And so you're getting really deep expertise, very detailed and specifically designed solutions for that problem.
Right.
That's different from a platform where it's typically a very sort of robust foundation. It's a technology in itself, but it allows you to solve not one problem in particular, but many different problems. So it's kind of like, to use an analogy, imagine if you go and buy your kid, I don't know, like a toy car, right?
Okay.
It can only ever be a toy car. It can't be anything else, right? But it's a really good toy car, like it's built to be a car.
Yep.
Whereas a platform is kind of like a set of Lego blocks, right? So you can use those Lego blocks and you can still build a car. It might not have the features, all the features of a car. It might not have the horn on the actual car itself because it's Lego blocks, but it's a car, it works. But you can also use those Lego blocks to build a truck, a plane, a house, right? So it gives you sort of that flexibility to solve and build many different solutions, right? So I guess the question is, when would you use a point solution versus a platform, right? There are certain use cases that are geared more towards point solutions, and those types of problems are typically ones that are uniform, that are, and when I say uniform, I mean uniform across the industry, right? So I'll give you an example. Let's say bookkeeping, right? So in the accounting world, bookkeeping is the same for all organizations largely, right? You have to have your expense register, you need to have sort of your balance sheets, and you know, as you vary from organization to organization, the way you do balance sheets isn't going to vary in terms of the structure very much. So to have a solution that really nails balance sheets and profit and loss statements and transactions and reconciliation with your bank account makes a lot of sense for it to be a solution. But where a platform would make a lot more sense are areas where the use cases can never really be fully uniform or the same across different organizations. And a great example of that is workflows. So you think about all the organizations, they'll have procurement teams and finance teams and legal teams. And if you go deeper into that, say take the legal team as an example, they'll have NDAs and service agreements and delegation of authorities in the way they sign off on things. And every organizations have these same functions and processes, but how they do them is different. How your NDA looks like is different. How your matrix for delegation of authority is different. How you interface with your finance team on thresholds and who needs to sign off is different. And so a point solution can never solve those problems because you can't buy it off the shelf. And often if you try to buy an off-the-shelf point solution for those types of more bespoke use cases, you end up having to change your business's processes around the technology rather than a platform where the technology changes around your process, where it's bespoke to your organization, which makes a lot more sense, right, when it comes to workflow.
100%.
So that's kind of the difference, right? It's not point solutions versus platform. The answer is you need both, depending on what use cases you're trying to solve, whether it is very specific and industry-wide in terms of the uniform nature of that problem, or whether it's relatively bespoke to your organization and you want the control over the flexibility and the design of that solution. Right. And I'll wrap up with one more thing, which is there's a big trend. It's not a recent trend actually, but there's a trend that's still ongoing, which is IT teams and business units want to consolidate the amount of technology that they have because license fees, training fees, you know, even relationship management with all the different vendors becomes quite a big headache. With point solutions, because it solves only one specific problem, you have to have many different point solutions to solve all the problems in your enterprise, right? But with a platform, it's a single vendor, it's a single sort of underlying training and understanding of the platform. And you can solve many different problems on top of that one solution. And so it really feeds into that trend of consolidating the types of technology in your technology stack, right? So that's kind of like an added benefit of platforms as well on top of point solutions. Rather than having many point solutions, you have one platform to solve many problems.
Awesome, that was really good information there. Thank you for letting us know the difference between platforms and point solutions. If you guys would like to learn more about this, we've got a bunch of resources on our website, so please check that out. See you guys next time.